The Cockatrice Boys by Joan Aiken. Chapter 2. The last recruit to the Cockatrice Corps was a drummer boy. Dakin Prestwich. When he told his mother that he had been accepted for the anti-monster corps, she burst into a flood of tears. "Oh, Dakin, you never... What do you want to go and do that for? You must be out of your fanatical mind." "I'm sick of living in the strong room of Barclay's Bank, Shepherd's Bush," said Dakin. "I want to see some daylight." "You'll be killed for sure. You'll be crunched up by a flying hammerhead, or stamped on by a foot monster, or the deadly Murkdole will get you, and I shall be left all alone," wept Mrs. Prestwich. "Except for Mrs. Monk, Mrs. Prateman, Mrs. Jeopardy, Frau Fisher, Fraulein Gross, Mr. Teal, and Mrs. Widley," pointed out Dakin. These were the other people with whom Dakin and his mother shared the strong room of the bank. Several of them had been very kind to him, lent him books to read, and taught him German. But now he wanted a change. "You just don't care about your poor old mother." "Yes, I do, Ma. And I'll be all right. They're going to give us snot glasses, and there'll be a radio advanced warning to the train. And a ballista for firing red-hot missiles at the Murkdole. I'll come back safe and sound, you'll see, and maybe I'll be able to bring you a few dandelion leaves and a bit of wild spinach." People were absolutely starved for greenery because they never dared go into the open country. All the food came from tins. "Those snot glasses are no use," wailed Mrs. Prestwich. "They say you can only use them 6 times. After that, you see the snark through them and vanish away." "I'll be all right," repeated Dakin, and he hugged his mother and left, because he could see that no amount of argument would ever convince her. The troop train was waiting for its crew in a huge pillared hall underneath King's Cross Station. The Cockatrice Bell, as it came to be called, had been constructed with tremendous care and enthusiasm. People were so happy to do anything that might rid the land of monsters that they had been prepared to work all hours of the day and night. Hundreds of willing helpers had toiled for weeks in relays. The train had been built from all the bits and pieces left over from buildings that had been smashed by the devouring invaders. Mahogany from grand restaurants, brass from pubs, velvet from theaters. Everybody brought something. Fishermen brought hooks, old ladies brought scissors and needles, children brought paint boxes and marbles. The train was armor-plated in bronze, inlaid with gold stripes, and the windows were triple bulletproof glass with snark-proof shades that could be automatically lowered at the touch of a button in the operations coach. On the roof were the wind vanes and a row of solar energy panels, in case the sun ever shone to supplement the stellar power. The wheels were steel with rubber suction tires. Tanks of concentrated diesel bricks hung suspended beneath the train. Dakin Prestwich ran up to the uniformed sergeant who kept guard at the ticket gate. He saluted smartly. "Drummer boy Prestwich reporting for duty, sir," he said. "Ho!" snorted the sergeant, who was tall and stringy and red-faced. "I wonder why Colonel Clipspeak saw fit to recruit a little chitty-faced object like you when there was plenty others to choose from." "It's because I play the drum, real psychedelic," said Dakin. "Speak when you're spoke to, and you address me as Sergeant. Sergeant Bellswinger I am." "But Sergeant's enough for you." "Yes, Sergeant." "You get along to the boot car, that's your station. Corporal Dwindle will issue you with uniform and tell you your duties, and don't let me hear that drum," added the sergeant, scowling with great disfavour at Dakin's enormous instrument. "Don't let me hear that drum ever, unless orders comes as it's to be sounded, or the colonel will do his nut." How can I practice then?" said Dakin, dismayed. "None of your lip. Double along to the boot car." Sergeant Bellswinger turned his back at a new group of recruits, or rookies, and Dakin went along to the far end of the train. Corporal Dwindle, a sad, scoop-faced man, issued Dakin with his uniform, which was dark brown, the color of plain chocolate, with gold buttons. And here's a pair of smart glasses, which have to be greased every day with Vaseline, a compass and a walkie-talkie, and a liquid air pistol, said the corporal, handing Aiken these items. Write your name on the receipt from here, please. I'll be giving you instructions how to use the pistol. Meantime, don't go fooling about with it. You can stack your drum up there in the rack. Your duties are as follows. At 7 ac Emma every morning, you take the colonel his early morning tea from the galley. Where do I find the colonel? In his private coach, that's past the table tennis car and before you get to the video fan. After the colonel's had his tea, you polish the boots of all the officers and NCOs. Then you cleans the windows, said the corporal, his eyes lighting with enthusiasm, because he had once been a window cleaner himself. What? All of them? Every one. And I want to see them glitter. Every day I have to do that. Every blessed day. Visibility has to be kept at a maximum. When that's done, you takes the colonel and officers their mid-morning coffee. I reckon they won't get their coffee till tea time, said Aiken, looking along the length of the train at the rows of glass panes. And we'll pause there.